And you can't really live life of joy and peace if you feel like you have loss in your life. I mean, it's a hole. You're not going to be able to fill it. And if you're constantly looking at what you don't have, do you know what? You're always going to see what you don't have, and you're going to miss out on all the things that you do have. All the things that you have to be thankful for, you're not going to notice them because you're looking at what you don't have. And see how subtle that is? Hello, this is Lorraine, and welcome to Healthy Living, Spirit, Soul, and Body. So today I wanted to reach out to people that are depressed or feeling lonely or just having the blues this Christmas. Because it's a funny thing, grief and feeling sad is debilitating. It's not like the innocent emotion that you may think. So let's talk a little bit about grief and some things that you might be able to do to get rid of it. Here we go. So what about grief, especially grief around the holidays? Something that's really true that I mentioned before is that grief is literally deadly. Okay, it literally steals your life. It literally will stop you in your tracks and keep you in the past. Think about it. If you're constantly thinking about something that you lost in the past or something that somebody did to you in the past, you're going to be stuck there. You're not going to be able to go forward. And you want to go forward. You want to live your life. You don't want to have your past keep you in chains. Okay? So what are some things that we can do to break out of grief? And so the first thing that you need to do is you need to forgive yourself and forgive others about things that happened in your past. Okay? The bottom line is that there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. You can't go in the past. You can't change it. And you can't change the mistake that you may have made or mistakes that somebody else made that you need to forgive. So the most important thing that you need to do is forgive. And here's the funny thing about forgiveness. Forgiveness is a decision. It's not a feeling. So you can make the decision, before God and say, Lord, I forgive so-and-so for what they did to me, whether they meant it intentionally or unintentionally. I forgive them for it. I'm not going to bring it up anymore, and they are free. I free them from any kind of retribution that I would want, any kind of apology. Okay? They are free. I loose them from any obligation toward me. Okay? And that's really what you need to do. It doesn't excuse the person. It doesn't mean that what they did was okay. It just frees you from it. And I know that seems to be the catchphrase about forgiveness, but it's true, okay? And you need to make it real to you. And the other thing that's really funny too about things in the past is that a lot of times they can get distorted in your mind because maybe you keep thinking about it and you make the offense worse and worse and worse and worse because you want to justify yourself for whatever reason. But you need to see it for what it is, okay? Unfortunately, everybody makes mistakes and it could have been innocent, but regardless, you need to just let it go. You need to keep the things in the past and go forward. And if it's an instance of you forgiving yourself, then you need to do it. You need to, give yourself a break. And, remember, if you make a mistake, it's not really a failure, it can be a lesson. And so it's really the way you look at what happened in the past that's going to make the big difference. Okay, so that's the first thing that you should do. There's no way you're going to be able to have peace in your heart and have joy in your heart if you're in unforgiveness, okay? And here's the thing also, if certain things will trigger you. You're going through your day and something will happen. Just because you're feeling that same old feeling again doesn't mean that you didn't forgive them. It's just a feeling. You need to, when you remember, forgive again. And if you remember that forgiveness is a decision, it's not a feeling, you'll say, no, I don't care how I feel. I've already decided to forgive them. And then just let it go and continue living your blessed life. Things can be simple, but not necessarily easy. But it's very, very important that you do that first thing. okay? Okay, the next thing that you can do to get rid of the grief is to realize and focus on the things that you actually have. A lot of times people are sad because of things that they're missing, things that they lost. Let the past be the past and go forward and concentrate on what you do have. When you concentrate on what you do have, you're going to realize that you have abundance. And you can't really live life of joy and peace if you feel like you have loss in your life. I mean, it's a hole. You're not going to be able to fill it. And if you're constantly looking at what you don't have, do you know what? You're always going to see what you don't have. And you're going to miss out on all the things that you do have. All the things that you have to be thankful for, you're not going to notice them because you're looking at what you don't have. And see how subtle that is? That's why it's important this Christmas to be grateful and be thankful. And when you have an attitude of gratitude, it brings life into your life and it frees you. It heals your heart, really, because when you see all that you have, you're going to be a whole lot more at peace. You're going to realize that you're being well taken care of and God is blessing you, and you're going to be thankful to Him, and you're going to be on the lookout for other things to be thankful for. And that's really the way to live. Because think about it, what is Christmas anyway? Christmas is God's gift to us in the baby Jesus, okay? And if we're not really looking at our blessings, then we're going to miss out on that. And that's the greatest gift that we could ever receive, is Jesus coming down, leaving His throne, and being a baby in a manger, okay, for us. And lastly, the thing that can really steal our joy and bring grief is putting down our boundaries and getting guilted by other people. And this can really, really be subtle because you love people and you want to help them. And sometimes people will expect you to go above and beyond what's normal and above and beyond your boundaries. And you need to sometimes set a limit. You need to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I made a commitment to somebody else and I can't. Boundaries are a subtle thing because you have to let each person bear the weight of their own lives. If they want you to help them with things that are really their problem or things that they created themselves in their own lives, you need to put up boundaries because they need to take responsibility for their own lives, and you need to take responsibility for your life. And think about it this way. Sometimes when we're picking up somebody else's responsibilities, then we're not picking up our own, or we try to do both, and then who suffers? I mean, we suffer. So the best thing you can do really is to keep up boundaries in the holiday season. Make a list of what's really important to you that you need to do and stick to it. Okay? Now, if one of those things happens to be a crisis in somebody's life, yes, of course, sacrifice. But if it's something that is somebody else's responsibility and they want you to take their responsibility, don't do it. So keep boundaries. Don't let other people guilt you into doing things that are really their responsibility. Okay? That's another way that people can steal our joy and bring grief into our lives. So I hope you liked this video today. If you liked it, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe, and give me some comments maybe about how you got over the weight of grief during the Christmas season. And remember, this is the most wonderful season because we're celebrating God's greatest gift. And when we can really appreciate what God did and the sacrifice that Jesus made, it'll just bring joy into our life, and then you'll be able to be the conduit of peace in other people's lives. Spread peace this Christmas, be kind, but you can't give away what you don't have. So make sure that you're protecting yourself with boundaries. Make sure that you're forgiving. Make sure that you're not looking and thinking about what you don't have, and appreciate the things that you do have. Okay? So Merry Christmas. Have an absolutely wonderful season this year, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. you.